Shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Is Mohit sir is available, I think. So we can start, right?
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome you all for the one-day professional development program on Introduction to the Machine Learning of Cybersecurity, organized by the Department of Computer Science Engineering, Bihari College of Engineering and Technology, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, in association with Pencilbits. I take this opportunity to introduce the college. The Bihari College of Engineering and Technology is located in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. It's a designation institution to delight to forecasting excellence in technical and professional educations. Establishing with the vision of empower students with edge-cutting knowledge and the practical skill, BCT College offers a wide range of UG graduated and the PG graduating programming in engineering, technology, and management. The college is affiliated with the Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University, Kakinada, and it is recognized by the All India Council of Technical Education and ensuring the high standard of academic qualifications and credibility. It is a state-of-art on infrastructure, well-equipped laboratory, and the modern faculties provided by the students with the conservative environment to learning and innovations. BCT College takes a pride to the extensive faculty who brings the blend of academic and industry experience to the classroom. The college has emphasis hospitalities development to encourage the students to participate in the co-curriculum and extracurriculum activities, including the technical, feast, cultural events, and the sports. Located in the city of Visakhapatnam, BCT College benefits to provide the promising industrial hub and IT corner and offering the students to the opportunity for the internships and the placement in leading companies. With the strength focus on the research and innovations and society impact, the Bihari College of Engineering and Technology aims to shape the future led by the professional who has contributed the meaningful to the global technical land. It's my immense pleasure to introduce our today's speaker. Mr. Mohit Tuhari sir has a highly accomplished professional with over of 2 decade experience. He had older BTech in computer science engineering and MBA in the operations and research. His career span and deserve the range of fundamental area and showcasing his experience in software development, networking, system, and the database management administrations, as well as the IT infrastructure management. Additionally, the Mohit sir has been handling the significant contributions to the field of education throughout his role of assistant professor in computer science and engineering department. As he's dedicated researcher and the Mohit sir has provided the deep understanding of emerging trends and development in the IT industries. He is committed to the open source technology and has passions to the staying at the front for technologies and advancement. He has make a valuable aside to the both academic and professional. Welcome you, sir. Say it is audible, sir.
Ma'am, you are audible. I think we are waiting for the source reply.
Mohit, sir. Say it is audible, sir. Sir, we could not able to hear your voice, sir.
Am I audible now, ma'am?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please carry on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Once again, it's a proud moment to introduce you, sir, for the event. You can take over the session, sir.
Thank you so much. May I present the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we can able to see your presentations. You can able.
Should I make it full screen?
Mm.
Or is this okay?
This is okay, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mohit Tiwari, as Madam has already told few things about me. Well, I am a big advocate of open source softwares and technologies. I always encourage my students and my peers and my colleagues also that we should be using open source software as much as possible. So I am always on to these avenues for looking out new technologies which are coming up in open source technologies. But obviously, when you adopt new technologies, new vulnerabilities also comes up. New problems, new hurdles, new loopholes in the softwares, they also turned up. So that's where the word cyber security comes in. So security is a thing which we all are very familiar of, how to secure and make it safe. Now, cyber word means that we are doing something which we cannot see or which we cannot feel or touch, but we can see what is happening with that. So any software which we apply any techniques to secure it or to uh, make it uh, very secure or very safe is the process which we do with this is known as cyber security. Now, as I already said that there are many techniques which have come up, and now techniques are now intermixed with each other. So one of the techniques which I am very fortunate to talk about today is about machine learning, which is now mixed with cybersecurity. So machine learning is nothing but what? That you teach a machine something, you give the input, and the machine gives you the output. But here the inputs we are talking about are in large data or maybe some large values which we give to the machine, and so the machine gives us. And this process of giving input to the data is known as training the machine, or we train someone that so that he or she or the machine could give the responses or the outputs which we actually want to do the machine the work for. Right. So here we will try and combine, as I already have, we can see the subtitle also, how machine learning can help in protecting against cyber threats. And I have taken the examples from India itself so that we can connect better. I have taken the context of big companies, popular companies, famous MNCs, which are now doing these process, and they are now protecting themselves with the cyber threats which are coming up daily on a regular basis. So, yeah, you were saying something, sir. I can see your raised hand. You want to say something? Okay. Should I continue? Okay, so moving on. Just a minute. So, is it my screen visible now? Kindly, someone please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, so we will start from the very basics of the uh, talk which we are going to start from. And I have focused this talk on people uh, who might not be such tech savvy people. So tech savvy people who are here might find these a bit simpler ones, but I have kept it a bit neutral on a neutral basis. So let's start from what is machine learning. So machine learning is nothing but which we give the inputs and we train the computers to learn from the data which we give, and then they should make the decisions without being program them or giving them some code or something or doing some coding or something. So the computer should learn on themselves, and then they should make the decisions which we want to do. Like for example, we all are uh, you know uh, so much into OTT these days. So everyone likes to watch some OTT, just like me. I love to watch movies, web series, So sometimes you have might have noticed that whenever you are looking for a particular genre or a particular movie or a particular web series, the particular platforms gives and starts giving you suggestions and recommendations. How does the platform know that you are looking for, like for example, I am into mystery and thriller genre. I love it. So I'm looking for the movies which belong to these genre. Like for example, a thriller movie. Like example, Drishyam, uh, one of my favorites. So I am searching for the Drishyam movie for say on Netflix. So next day also I searched for Drishyam 2 or something like that. So third day onwards or fourth day onwards, if you start continue with your search and all, in few days the platform will give you recommendations which are from the same genre. Now, how does that computer or that platform knows that you're looking for mystery and thriller genre? That is what is making the decision from their cells. You are giving the input, you are looking for mystery and thriller movies, and now they are making the decisions that you want to watch movies which are in these genres. So this is known as learning of machines. A machine is learning from your inputs. They are applying some techniques or technologies which we will be talking later. Uh, this is a type of a artificial intelligence. So here the intelligence is not uh, given or performed by the human, but in fact it's performed by the machine, and it will give you whatever the required output you are looking for. I have taken a simple analogy here. uh, just imagine we are teaching a child to recognize the fruits or say maybe some alphabets or something. So we will show what, like for example, we are trying to teach them what does A, B, C, D alphabet means. So what we will do is we will show a picture of an apple or maybe an example of apple, that A is for apple, B is for banana, C is for chocolates, and D is for something else. So we will show the pictures, and the child will now try to learn. Once they uh, are sure that this apple picture stands for a letter. Now this will, now next time whenever he says a apple, he will always or she will always relate that to that one letter A, and that ways he will start learning. In the same way, ML or machine learning, ML is the short form for machine learning. So machine learning is also, they also start or they also allows the computers to learn from the patterns or from the examples which we give to them, and then they start learning, and then they start to make smart decisions. So this, and they are applying a type of intelligence on this. They are applying their intelligence on this, which is known as AI or artificial intelligence. As you all know, it's on the boom these days. Everyone is using, you know, AI these days. In fact, the lab I am sitting in currently in is our Intel Unnati Lab, or it is known as Artificial Intelligence Lab here. So these days, AI is rising, and machine learning is the hot topic these days. So when the technologies come up, when these kinds of algorithm and technologies come up, the security issues also comes up. So at that point, cybersecurity comes to the play for this. So moving on, uh, what does machine learning, why it is different, or why do we think machine learning is different from some other programming? Here, when you do a typical programming, the people who have done programming in their past, or maybe they are doing programming, what do? They learn a language and then they start give the instructions to the computer, and for every action that you need to do, you need to write a piece of code and piece of instruction to that. Uh, but in machine learning, the process enables computers to learn patterns, or from the data which you are giving or you are supplying to the computer. That, in short, is for every possible output, instead of writing or manually giving them the code, uh, we let the computer learn from the data which we are giving, and the data which it has processed in the past, or the data in the present which we are giving, and then using that data and using those patterns to make decisions or predictions based on that data or based on those predictions, right? So I have taken few examples. One, we have already taken Netflix and YouTube recommendations. YouTube, in the same way, if you look for a particular genre or a particular music video or a song or something like that, next time it will start recommending you on your home feed or your home page. It will start giving you recommendations that you might want, be interested in this. The people who are interested in this were listening to this, and these kinds of, these kinds of things. Another is spam mail detection. So email, Gmail, Outlook, these kinds of big platforms which are mail platforms, they use machine learning extensively to fight with spam. Now, spam is has become a big menace, but due to this machine learning part and the artificial intelligence part, the spam part has been curbed a little bit. So what does actually happen? So the system or the email platform, like the Gmail or the Outlook, they learn from the previous mails that have been marked as spam by the users. So that's why they say whenever you mark a mail, the system will learn from those actions. And next time, like for example, a mail has been bothering you from the last few days, and it has come from XYZ @ abc.com. Now, uh, I'm sorry. So what will you do? You will mark this email as spam and block the sender. But what will happen? The sender might use another domain or another email address or another name, and then starts bothering you again. So what you will do is, you will tell the Outlook or the Gmail or any other web platform or mail platform that this mail is spam and it's been bothering me, so kindly block this and kindly mark this as spam in the future. Whenever a mail is coming like this, kindly mark this as spam. So what will happen is, you can do this with keywords also, like mails coming from this and containing these words should be marked as spam. Or maybe some attachments which are like look like viruses, like .exe or .zip or things like that, or jpg, some things like that, which are looking like dubious or suspicious. they can be, you can mark them as spam, or email addresses. Even you can, as I already told you, you can mark a email address as spam or multiple email addresses as well. So what will the system do is it will learn from its the inputs or the data which you are giving continuously, and then it will try and prevent you from unwanted messages from appearing into their inbox. And just give me 2 minutes. So now another examples is the voice assistant Siri and Alexa. So these systems are also powered by machine learning. So whenever you ask Siri or Alexa or any Google Assistant to play a song or set a reminder, they will process your voice. They will note down the modulations in your voice, and then they will recognize your commands. Next time, whenever you say a particular command or whatever, it's cooked in the uh, coded in the assistant, it will recognize it and it will start uh, you know following the instructions. Like for example, if you say, hey Google, put a reminder for me at 5 p.m. today, right? So what will happen is it will learn from the past interactions to get better, and then you will give, and so it will understand your accent, it will understand your tone, and it will understand and try and understand, and will try and improve uh, the time which is, it will try and improve over the time, and it will try and learn what is going to happen, what is, what you are going to say. It will try to predict. That is known as predictive analysis. So it will try and analyze what you are going to say, or at what time, or maybe if you say maybe you are putting an alarm at a particular time, so it will guess at around 10:30 you will put up an alarm for 4:30 or maybe 5. So it will guess that you are going to say that, hey Google, put an alarm for 5 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. So this is what this is a part of artificial intelligence, which in turn is actually learning, machine learning. uh, Machines are learning continuously, and they are trying and predicting, and they are trying to give you the output which is actually required, and which is actually needed by you, right? So so why is machine learning important in cybersecurity is the burning question of this talk today. So what is cybersecurity? I have already told you. Uh, have you ever received a suspicious email from the bank saying that you need to provide your uh, phone name, phone number, date of birth, your personal information, confidential information? So if you have faced and this, if you say yes, I have received it, then you have been a part of this, process. Now, how do you get protected by this? The first word which comes to our mind is cybersecurity. If we follow a few rules, if follow our mind, our common sense, our brains into this, then obviously we can be protected from this. Obviously, not totally we can be protected by this, but yes, we can prevent this. And as we all know, prevention is one of the best cures, right? So in cybersecurity, machine learning, they allow the computer to detect, and they make the computers like this, or machine learning makes the computers to detect and respond to the threats which are coming. Now, threats are can be of different types, which we will see further. Uh, like for example, I can take the example of a bank. Uh, I have a bank in, I have an account in some XYZ bank. So whenever I make a high value transaction, or maybe I'm taking out money from the ATM in succession, like for example, I'm taking 5,000, then in the second, like in 2 minutes, I'm taking out another 5,000, then in 5 or 7 minutes, I'm taking out 10,000. So after 2 or 3 transactions, they are continuously monitoring it, and there will be a call from the headquarters which will verify from you whether you are doing these transactions or somebody else has access to your account and they are trying to do these transactions, because this is not a normal transaction you are doing. So normally we don't take out money from the ATM one after the other, but sometimes there is a requirement. So I had one requirement. I had some requirements at that time, so I had to, withdraw one after the other. So what happens is a phone call was there from the transaction head office in Chennai, and they called me and told me that you are doing abnormal transactions. So please verify yourself. So they asked me a few things, and they verified my account, and after that they allowed me to do the transaction. So this is what this is. ML doing the cybersecurity part of you. They are continuously monitoring your transactions here, and they are trying to identify suspicious ones. Like for example, I told you, uh, one after the withdrawal, what happening. So they thought that this is a suspicious thing. It's going on in the real time. So we need to protect the user. If the user is not, doing the transactions on their own, it might be a fraud or it might be attack on the servers. So they verified the account, they verified the identification and the identity of the user, and then they allowed to proceed further. So cybersecurity involves protecting computer systems, networks, data from attacks, theft, damages. Now the cyber threats are going at, they are growing like anything these days. Uh, More the technologies are coming up, more the threats are, popping up here and there. So more the machines are getting, new technologies, more they are getting vulnerable to cyber threats and cyber attacks. So more the cyber security is getting more and more important in these cases. So we should be very careful while doing any online transaction. If we are doing it very safely, very calmly, then the transactions would go. But if we shouldn't be in a very hurry, or like I have noticed people. I went to several seminars and workshops, and I've seen people, and I have asked people that. How fast do you do a UPI transaction? So everyone said we will do in 5 minutes, we will do in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So there is not a race. Whenever it's your own money, whenever you are doing a transaction, or whenever you are doing a financial transaction in particular, you should be very careful. Where are you sending the money, from whom you are receiving the money, is that resource valid or not? Is the number valid or not? Is the UPI number valid or not? So these things you should be very careful. Whenever you are receiving money from anyone, you don't need a OTP for receiving money. Whenever you are sending money, you need the OTP. So sometimes what happens is some cyber criminals or some cyber
Excuse me, Mohit sir, you are in mute, sir.
Is it okay now? Is it okay now, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. So yeah. Why is machine learning getting important for cybersecurity? First, machine learning involves a huge volume of data, uh, enormous volume of data from millions of devices, millions of users, millions of networks, millions of transactions are being fed into the computers, which are going through these processes of getting trained. So what happens is, if you start analyzing this data manually, this will get very slow and very impractical. So that's why whenever a huge volume of data is fed into the computers for this process of applying algorithms of machine learning and AI and all, so here machine learning is involved. Now, new threats are coming up every day. So the criminals are also involving their methods. They are changing their methods. Now they are not into the old traditional methods. They are developing new methods. They are devising new methods, new types of malware, trojans, viruses, worms, you know keyloggers, etc., etc. They are now coming up. New kinds of attacks. One of the famous attacks is phishing attack, where a cyber criminal designs or develops a page which is almost similar, or it is very similar to the original page, and then it forces the user to enter his or her confidential information on that page, and that all information is now being received by the cyber criminal. Any other fraud, number of frauds we see every day, new kinds of frauds we see every day. uh, I was reading about today some frauds about invisible ink, people doing this, new kinds of fraud techniques or new kinds of techniques were developed every day. So if you want to prevent all this, the traditional systems, I'm really sorry to say, but it's a very difficult task for the traditional system to keep up with such technology on a real-time basis. For this, we absolutely need systems which are continuously updated, and they are applied and trained with the real-time data which is happening. The traditional systems, they have static data which had been loaded maybe few months back, but the systems which are capable of performing machine learning techniques, they contain the real data, the real time data, and which is being fed at the real time so that they can combat these kinds of cybersecurity threats. Last is the speed and accuracy. Obviously, humans can't match the speed of the computer. Uh, they might miss some human error can be there, some typing error, or some these kinds of error can be also there. But machine learning, they helps by processing enormous amounts of data, and they do it in real time, and then they identify the potential threats almost immediately, so that it can be done on time, and it can the cyber threats can be prevented uh, on time, so that minimal damage or minimal uh, you know things can be controlled, or the damage control can be done much more faster. So these are the benefits of machine learning in cybersecurity: faster detection of attacks, continuous learning, automation of threat response. Uh, if a threat is coming, the machine learning models can be, they can be given the data so that their responses can be automatic or automated, so that no manual intervention is required at any point from our side. It can respond to the threat. It can uh, do the response part on its own, and which allows other cybersecurity teams to focus on more complex tasks. And obviously, it will reduce the time to stop the cyber attacks which are happening. Now, cybersecurity is getting difficult also, as the cyber threats are growing to be more sophisticated. They are getting more advanced. They are getting more, complex, like data breaches, phishing, ransomware, malware. These things were not known to the common public as such, say maybe few years ago. But now everyone almost have at least heard of these terms, if they don't know in advance, in uh, detail about these, but at least they are aware of these things, that what is happening or what happens in a data breach. Like data breaches, one I was reading about was about Domino's Pizza. So Domino's Pizza had a major data breach, a major attack, and what happened is, yes, Indra Rao, yes, you were saying something. Okay. So, the cyber criminals are finding new ways to bypass everything. Uh, they are, looking out for the new ways to, you know, divert or get uh, they can bypass these measures, and in turn, it is making it more challenging and more tough for the cybersecurity teams to detect and prevent these kinds of attacks. So these are the few challenges. We will see a little bit later that there are so many challenges which are there in the ML and cybersecurity part. Now, challenges are there, but obviously we have a solution in hand, and today we are talking about machine learning is one of the solutions. So, as I already said, machine learning can automate the detection. They can respond to the threats by on their own, because they are continuously analyzing the data. They are identifying the patterns. They are reacting to the potential risk. Obviously, they are doing it faster than humans. Uh, they are handling massive data volumes, like for example, Paytm or PhonePe. I have taken the example of Paytm and PhonePe. They process millions of transactions every day. Billions of transactions are happening on these platforms. So uh, if you want to detect fraudulent activities which are happening on these platforms, and if you want to do it manually, obviously it will take so much time, and there is a possibility that many threats will be missed too. But machine learning can process this data in real time. It will give you unusual patterns. It will identify the behaviors which are not usual or which are not normal, and it will give you the signs that the fraud, or maybe a phishing, or maybe a cyber attack is happening on this account. or then you can go and prevent it. And in most of the parts, it can respond to these threats on their own as well. Machine learning, I have given two examples like ICICI Bank and IRCTC. They are being targeted a lot. Many phishing attacks have been done on these sites. What they do is they make uh, the page which looks like almost similar. They are like Xerox copies of those pages. You can't see any differences in the first look. You can't even make out any differences. But obviously, when you start looking and you start looking carefully, then you will see that there are differences between the original page and the fished page. But obviously, in the first look, or people who are just going to enter their confidential information, if they are not very careful, then they might be, they can be, unfortunately, they can be a part of a phishing attack as well. But here, the ML models, what happen is they are trained on massive data sets like these. So they learn to recognize the most advanced tactics and adapting to the new frauds and the new fraudulent methods, new phishing attacks, new cyber attacks. So more attacks they process and more attacks they curve. The systems, the model systems, the ML models, they become more and more better at recognizing the next threat. Speed of detection and response. So obviously, the ML models are, uh, you know, they are so fast enough that they will respond in seconds to the cyber attacks. Uh, Attacks can be curbed and mitigated before they escalate. For example, I have taken one example of a network. If an anomaly in a network is detected, like a large data transfer is being done or an unauthenticated, unauthorized login is there, then the ML model can alert the teams instantly within seconds, to giving them more time to investigate and prevent the damage if there has been any damage done. So, one or two examples we can always take. These are the few benefits in Indian cybersecurity, like Google Pay and Paytm. Uh, they can identify fraudulent transactions as they happen. Like, for example, if a account shows a certain large withdrawal that doesn't match previous behaviors, the model will flag at suspicious and block it. Then they will notify the user and the platform's team which handles the security. Phishing attack. Uh, Many people, they are targeted by these phishing emails, which looks like they are coming from real sources, legitimate sources like banks or government websites. So ML models, what will happen? They will help detect these by analyzing the content of the email and compare them to the known phishing attempts, so that the users can be prevented and they don't click on these kinds of links or these kinds of, uh, they don't enter their confidential information, uh, or they don't disclose their sensitive information as such. Airtel and Reliance Jio, they use machine learning intensively. They monitor the network traffic for unusual activity. Once, just few days back, my email account was accessed. I tried using a VPN, and I tried that was actually my mistake, that I opened my email account through that VPN. I was using the VPN from a foreign location. So that account was flagged that it was getting hacked and it was accessed from an outside location. So what they did is they disabled the account, and then I had to, give some uh, I had to, explain them and tell them that I was just doing an experiment with the students, and I was just trying to, actually we were doing an project. I am recently doing a project with my students on phishing attacks, and we are trying to build a IDS, a intrusion detection system for this. So we were just testing for that. So anyways, so the ML models they are just so quick, and they work within seconds. Um, Whether a outside location is trying to access a sensitive information from inside of the organization, uh, so that can be detected. And also, if it's detected on time, obviously the actions can be taken most faster, and then it will ensure that the network of that particular platform is secure and stable and working well. Uh, this is the few key benefits which we have seen. Obviously, speed, adaptability, and automation. So automatic threat responses, adaptation to the new evolving threats, speed, obviously, it detects faster than the traditional methods. Now, we have seen a few benefits of machine learning. So how basically machine learning works? Uh, we have seen that it works by allowing to the computers to learn from the data which is being given to the computer. The system will look at the data. It will go look at various parameters or various variables of that data to recognize the patterns, and then it will make some predictions based on their data. Uh, so what are the key steps in machine learning? I'm not going into much technical jargon or such. I'm just keeping it very neutral. So data is provided to the system. This can be anything from, it can be, emails, it can be images, it can be transaction histories, it can be dummy data also, it can be some username, some passwords, etc., etc., whatever you want to make a model of. Then after giving the data, when you are done with the data input, then you will now try and start to train the model. So here training means that the patterns are labeled. Like for example, it will you will give a large data set where the patterns are already labeled. Like for example, there are spam mails and there are non-spam mails. Like for example, we will take an example of how to develop a phishing or spam email detection system. So what we will do is we will take a data set and we will mark, or if we take an automatic data set, so they will, where the patterns will be already labeled. Spam mails will be there, not spam mails will be there, fraudulent transactions will be there, legitimate transactions will be there, um, images which contain the viruses will be there, images which are clean will be there. So these all kinds of, the good things will be also there and the bad things will be also there. So these will be all labeled, and then we will try to start and train the model. Then afterwards, we will apply some technologies, some small logics, which are known as algorithms. So there are many algorithms and many types of algorithms which we can apply on these systems. According to these algorithms, the systems will analyze the data, and then they will start to identify and look and recognize the trends, like patterns. Like for example, if we come back to the phishing emails in detection system, what we will do is like we will put some words like uh, we put spam. So wherever the spam word is written, it will mark that email as spam, and it will filter all other mails as no spam. Uh, then after this, after marking and applying some small technologies or small logics, which are known as algorithms, Once the data is analyzed and the patterns and trends are identified, then afterwards, the prediction and detection by the system will go on. It will be started. What it will do is it will try and detect a new phishing email. Uh, it will try and identify some frauds or fraudulent activities in some transactions, and then system will predict or detect new unseen data based on what it has learned from the learning patterns and the train while getting trained. So here there are three types of machine learning models: uh, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So what is supervised learning? So the system is trained with labeled data. Like for example, email are labeled as spam or not spam, and the system learns to classify new emails based on this training. Unsupervised learning means the patterns in the data are not labeled, the categories are not labeled. Like for example, if we want to detect some unusual behavior in the network without knowing what the specific error or the specific threat is or the attack is, so what we will do is we will just try to detect the unusual behavior without a particular predefined labeled category on that. The third one, the third kind of machine learning is reinforcement learning. So here the system tries and learns by the trial and error method, where it will improve its decision making based on the rewards and the penalties given to the system. Like for example, a system when tries to learn to block malicious activity on a network, if it experiences several successful defenses, then it will given a reward. If it's not it's not able to block the malicious activity and it's getting failed one after the other, so it will be slapped a penalty. So here this system will now base the patterns based on the rewards and the penalties which has been done on the system. So machine learning systems needs data to learn from. The more the data you give, the more the system is, the better the system will be, and it will understand and identifying patterns. Training the models. Just like we train the students, we teach the students, we always give so many examples. Machine learning models also needs to be trained with a large set of examples. Then learning the patterns. Here, I already told you the system uses algorithms, the small logics to find the pattern. For example, the system may learn that the phishing emails often contain urgent language that are slightly different from the official ones. So what you will do is, instead of rbi.gov.in, here it says rbibank.gov.com or rbibank.com. So instead of the official email address or the official domain, it will contain a fraudulent or a domain which is not part of this official address. So the system will recognize these patterns in new mails, and then they will flag them as phishing attempts. So once the model has learned from the data, so it will start making decisions on new and unseen data. So for example, when you receive a new email, the train system can predict whether it's a spam or not based on the patterns. Similarly, in cybersecurity, there are various learning models which we have already learned about, like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So here the summary of the key points are: machine learning is about learning from the data. It involves training on labeled and unlabeled data. ML models can continuously improve as they are exposed to more data and new types of threats. So these are the types of machine learning. We have already discussed about supervised learning. A real-time example can be ICICI Bank, which uses supervised learning to detect fraudulent credit card transactions. So in supervised learning, the system is trained using labeled data. Unsupervised learning. Here we can take the example of Airtel, which uses unsupervised learning to detect fraudulent activities in its network. So in unsupervised learning, the system is provided with the data which is not labeled. Reinforcement learning. Here we can take the example of I4C, which stands for Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, which uses in reinforcement learning for incident response. The system automatically molds its mechanisms or the defense mechanisms based on the type of cyber attacks. Like for example, if it's facing a DDoS attack, that stands for distributed denial of service attacks, it will change its strategy to counter or counter attack the DDoS attack. So here it will use the system of rewards and punishment, which we had covered in the previous slides. So threat detection. So how does ML do a threat detection? So ML models, they analyze historical data, what normal behavior was there in that system. So by recognizing the deviations, if there is a deviation in this, then it will flag that particular activity as malicious. The next way is anomaly detections. It will look for the attacks which had never been done by analyzing the anomalies. For example, if a user logs in from a new location or a device, the system can detect it as a potential threat. As I already told you, I had used VPN for my email account, so it was detected as a potential threat. Now, real-time monitoring. Now, machine learning helps in monitoring the network 24/7. It processes the real-time data uh, to detect the suspicious activity instantly, immediately, rather than waiting for the attack to happen or the security team to respond. It will detect immediately. In most of the cases, it will try and give a automated response to that detection as well. I have taken few examples. Paytm, Airtel, ICICI Bank, Airtel network intrusion. If there is a unusual data on their networks, if the activity deviates from any normal usage, like in Paytm, if there is a fraud detection in payments, uh, like the frequency, the device, the location, the amount is continuously changing. In ICICI Bank, some credit card fraud detection, what will happen is the activities which are inconsistent with the user's typical behavior is done or flagged, malicious. So these are the key takeaways from this. Pattern recognition means historical data was compared, was studied, and then it was used to identify and predict the threats which are not in line with these data. These are deviations from the normal behavior. So anomaly detection is even ML will look for the suspicious anomalies and look for the new attacks that might happen, and then it will raise alarm. Real-time monitoring is the machine learning allows for continuous monitoring 24/7, quickly identifying and responding to the threats as they happen. We had taken real life examples from Paytm, Airtel, and ICICI Bank. All three are big MNCs, and we have taken three different scenarios from these three on these three companies. Now, how phishing and fraud detection can be done with machine learning? So phishing is, I already told you, cyber criminals, instead of directly asking for the OTPs and all, they impersonate legitimate organizations. They will make a fake web page, and where they will ask for the sensitive information like passwords, credit card numbers, personal details like your date of birth, like your telephone number, like your email address, like your things like this. So how machine learning will help in this kind of detection. So first is email classification, where it will automatically classify the emails as legitimate or phishing based on various features like sender's address, subject line, embedded links, things like that, and attachments. Link analysis. It will compare the links to the known legitimate websites. If they are similar, then it will allow. If it's not, then it will try and block it. Behavior analysis. It will look for the user behavior, like for example, the login time. When is a user generally logging in? Frequency of transactions. How much the user is staying on that particular platform. Device usage. For how long he or she has been using this device. To spot some patterns which are not normal or not usual. So this might indicate a fraud, like a user logging in from an unfamiliar location, or making large frequent transactions, or logging out too quickly and logging out too soon, and the device usage is not very much. If he or she generally stays on this device for like 2 hours every day, today or on that day they are just logging out after 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So this kind of behavior can trigger a fraudulent behavior. So I have taken Indian examples like SBI, ICICI Bank, Zomato. ICICI Bank, we have already discussed about the fraudulent transaction detection. Here, SBI, phishing email detection. So one of the largest phishing attacks, or the largest or the one of the biggest target is SBI, on which a lot of phishing attempts have been done, and they targets their customers. It has a humongous base of users. So the criminals and the people who are into this kinds of attacks, they always use phishing attacks to target the customers. So in this case, ML analyzes email contents, URLs, sender patterns, these kinds of behavior to identify the mails which are whether they are legitimate or whether they are attempting to impersonate the bank. Another is Zomato. It uses machine learning to detect fake reviews. By analyzing user behaviors and review patterns, they can differentiate between genuine reviews and those created by fake accounts, which are used to manipulate the ratings. So, malware detection. So now, how malware detection can be done with machine learning? So machine learning can help you using by behavior analysis. It can classify the files which are benign or malicious based on their attributes. Anomaly detection. So machine learning can help you in detecting these kinds of malwares. If, like for example, anomaly detection. So ML models can detect malware by analyzing deviations from the normal system or network behavior. If they are not behaving or the system is suddenly starting to behave very abnormally, then it might indicate that there is a malware infection. So these kinds of detections can also be done by machine learning. So here, two technologies or two companies which use very extensively. One is Quick Heal Technologies, Indian cyber security companies. Another is a Indian government company, which is NCIIPC, National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center. This is also using malware detection with machine learning. Anomaly detection in networks with machine learning. What is anomaly detection in networks? So first, machine learning will do is they will first learn the normal behavior of the network and the system. Like for example, the typical traffic which is on the network, the number of users, login times, data transfer, application usage. So when these kinds of baselines are established, then the system will try and look out for the deviations from this pattern. If there is a deviation from this pattern, that can indicate an anomaly. So now these ML models will continuously monitor the network traffic and checking for these kinds of patterns. So this real-time monitoring allows for immediate identification of potential threats, reducing the time between the detection and the response. So, and unknown threats can be also detected by using these machine learning models on the networks. Here we have taken the example of Airtel, Indian Railways, and TCS. Right. Real life applications of machine learning in cybersecurity in India. Real life applications are, there are many applications which are being used by machine learning. Financial fraud detection, network security and intrusion detection, phishing and identify theft prevention, endpoint security. These are the famous Indian examples. Paytm using fraud detection, ICICI Bank credit card fraud detection, Airtel network intrusion prevention, and Indian government NCIIPC, which is using machine learning to protect India's critical infrastructure and mitigating cyber threats like DDoS and DOS, phishing, malware, and attacks like this. Now, how machine learning detects phishing attacks? So, for example, if a mail has been received by the banks or the service providers, first, the models, they will analyze the email content. They will look for the suspicious phrases, urgent language in these kinds of phishing attempts. Then they will examine the URL within emails. This ML model can flag malicious links or fake websites. After that, sender and domain analysis, as I already told you, instead of using rbi.gov.in, now they are using rbibank.com. So this can be a suspicious domain or a suspicious sender. We have taken example of SBI. We have taken example of HDFC, taken example of Paytm, ICICI Bank, Airtel, Google Pay, Axis Bank, Zomato. So these are so many websites which you can use by machine learning models to detect various kinds of attacks, like you have seen here, phishing email detection processing using machine learning, fraud detection in online transactions using ML, machine learning for real-time fraud prevention in banking, deep learning for phishing detection in emails, fraud detection using ML in digital payment systems. Here you can take the example of Google Pay, where it's done by the transaction data analysis, the device fingerprinting, the dynamic scoring, things like that. Addressing false positives in fraud detection with ML. So what are false positives? There are two, these are two contradictory words. So false positives means uh, a, a false alarm given by, like for example, you are using a legitimate document. Now your antivirus says that the document contains some attachment, I mean, the document contains some macros or things like that, which are not safe for the system. Now, what it will do is, it will study the behavior, and based on the behavior of macros, it will flag those macros as a virus or a Trojan. So what will happen is, these are known as false positives. Instead, where actually the document or uh, the content was legitimate, but still sometimes uh, the models, they tag them as fraudulent, or they are not legitimate. So how to address these kinds of situations? If you are you know uh, deleting a document just because a antivirus has uh, given a false positive, then you might suffer a loss of that document. So how to manage these kinds of false positives? Uh, First, it will improve the model accuracy. That it will use larger data sets. They will use some fine tuning and tweaking of the models to reduce the false positives while maintaining a high fraud detection rate. Risk scoring. Uh, they now will score the transactions based on the likelihood of the fraud, and only high risk transactions are flagged. Next is, they will regularly update the fraud detection models with new and real-time data to improve accuracy and reduce the false positive rates. Like here, we have taken an example of Axis Bank. They uses ML models with dynamic scoring to reduce the false positive in fraud detection while maintaining high accuracy. Now, machine learning models for detecting phishing websites. So how to detect phishing websites, or the websites which are sending or not legitimate? How to detect these kinds of websites? First, these models, they will analyze the URLs to detect unusual patterns, such as slight changes in the domain names that may indicate phishing attempts. Then these will look for the content which is on the website. They will analyze this. Like for example, the site is not HTTPS, or the site is not on a secure protocol. So this can be a sign of a phishing attempt. It will also analyze the user behavior on these kinds of websites, such as clicking patterns, to detect phishing sites that try to trick users into revealing the credentials. Like for example, Zomato. Detecting phishing websites impersonating Zomato's platform using machine learning to prevent users from visiting fraudulent websites. So one example can be this. Social engineering attack. This is a very interesting one. So what is social engineering? So people can get friendly with you. People can get, uh, they will talk very things about which you like, and then they try and extract the data out of the users. Like for example, they will talk about their birthdays, and then they will try and extract the birth date from the users. In turn, they will try their passwords. They will try to come to know about their pets, family, etc. So you should be very careful about sharing your personal sensitive information to others, which whom you don't know or don't trust. So what happens is, ML models, they are trained to detect unusual patterns in the voice communication to identify phishing attempts through social engineering. Now they will also analyze the phishing emails, which are using manipulation. Like for example, urgency or threat. I need 5,000 rupees. I'm your brother, and I need 5,000, and I'm in a so many trouble, and I am stuck here. And please send me this much rupees by in 1 hour. Please, so that what happens is people generally they are they get sometimes the users they also get manipulated through these kinds of uh, uh, tactics. So this can be detected through ML by analyzing the tone, language, and urgency of these kinds of manipulations. Pattern recognition in communications. So they will detect how the interactions have been done on phone calls or email that resemble the common social engineering tactics. Here we have taken example of HDFC Bank. They used machine learning to detect social engineering attacks, tactics in phishing calls or emails attempting to steal user presentations. Future of ML in fraud detection and phishing prevention is what is the future of machine learning in cybersecurity? It's a very good topic to be seen. The future of machine learning in cybersecurity is getting brighter because there are a lot of advancements in the models, which machine learning models. They are improving their ability to predict future threats based on the historical data or old data, allowing for early intervention and prevention of the threat which is happening. Integration with blockchain. Now, blockchain technology is another a concept where uh, you can integrate machine learning and they can provide a secure way to authenticate the users and prevent phishing and fraud a lot. AI-powered fraud detection systems. AI-powered detection systems powered by machine learning will become increasingly autonomous, reducing the need for human intervention. Indian government has also taken many initiatives. Uh, Digital India has implemented ML-powered fraud prevention and phishing detection for secure digital transactions across platforms. So let's see some few real-life examples of machine learning in cybersecurity. Case study 1, how SBI stopped a major phishing attack with ML. So SBI was getting a lot of, their customers were targeted by a lot of phishing attacks through fraudulent emails and fake websites. Obviously, SBI was concerned about this. This is the largest public sector bank in India. So obviously their concern was at a higher level. So what was happening is these attacks, they were tricking the users into revealing their credentials and sensitive information, leading to a financial loss and obviously damage on the reputation of SBI. So what SBI did was they used machine learning algorithms to detect phishing attempts in real time. They trained the machine learning models on very large data sets of phishing and legitimate sites to identify the common patterns such as suspicious email addresses, fraud domain names, and the content which was very deceptive. Case study. Uh, so how did they work? They did the email content analysis, they checked the URLs, and then they analyzed the sender behavior. So these all things we have already discussed about these things. So what was the impact? So with the help of ML, SBI was able to block phishing emails before they reached customers, preventing a chance of fraud to be happen. Additionally, the system helped the bank proactively warning the customers about phishing schemes by sending alerts when a phishing attempt was detected. So what was the result? So this approach of using machine learning by SBI reduced the phishing related incidents by over 30%. securing thousands of customer accounts and preventing a lot of financial losses. Case study 2, Quick Heal Technologies. How they curbed their malware detection with machine learning. So what was happening? What was the challenge here? So traditional antiviruses were not able to, they were struggling to detect uh, modified malware. And they were evolving at a rapid pace with new variants coming up regularly. So what they tried is, they tried machine learning. They incorporated ML models into the antivirus software, and they started to detect and malware in the real time. So machine learning was used to analyze files, their behaviors, and network activities that could indicate malicious intent. So how did they work? They use behavior analysis, they use file classification, and they use real-time detection. By the use of this, Quick Heal saw a 25 increase in the detection rates for unknown malware. And you will be surprised, the use of machine learning in malware detection reduced the time to detect new threats from days to hours. So it's greatly improved the protection for the users. Case study 3 was Paytm. Paytm, how it improved its real-time fraud detection through machine learning. So the introduction of this machine learning model, they allowed Paytm to detect and block fraudulent transactions in real time, significantly reducing the financial losses. You will be surprised to know that Paytm saw a reduction in fraud by 40%, and users reported higher confidence in using this platform for secure transactions. So it always gives a belief in the customer, and their trust is also improved in over the company as well. Also, the security is also increased. Case study 4, I4C is the organization. How did they prevent the cyber attacks on critical infrastructure through using machine learning? So the machine learning, what they did is, they implemented these models to monitor the network traffic and detect anomalies that could indicate cyber attacks targeting their infrastructure. So with other technologies, they combined ML with other cybersecurity technologies. The system provided real-time threat detection and response. So the impact was, the machine learning system significantly improved the ability of I4C to detect cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure in real time and respond promptly to mitigate damage. What was the result of this? The I4C system successfully detected several high-risk attacks, including DDoS attempts and unauthorized access to sensitive government data. So these were the few case studies in which we saw how machine learning helped in using and detecting various cyber threats and various kinds of malicious activities that were prevented. So this we have already seen. So okay, coming to this challenges. Now, obviously, the machine learning model has so revolutionized cybersecurity. It has automated the responses. It has automated the detections. It has improved the accuracy. It has enhanced the decision-making capabilities. But as with any technology, ML has also some challenges, some limitations that can hinder its effectiveness. So there are mainly three kinds of challenges and limitations in machine learning with cybersecurity. They are with data quality, they are with adversarial attacks, and they are with interpretability. ML models improve over time, but their performance depends on the quality and consistency of the data used for training. Adversarial attacks can deceive the ML models, leading them to make incorrect predictions, and lack of transparency in how models arrive at decisions create concerns around trust and accountability. So, these are the challenges which generally are faced by the ML models. Data quality and privacy. ML models are only good as the data they are trained on. If the data is not of that good quality, including biasness or inconsistencies or missing information, then it can lead to inaccurate predictions and model performance degradation. In India, much of the data used for training ML models is unstructured or inconsistent, which presents a challenge for the effective model development. So here a bill was proposed for which says Personal Data Protection Bill, which requires strict handling of the personal data. Next is adversarial attacks. Here, spoofing and evasion. Cyber attackers may sometimes manipulate inputs to deceive models. Like, for example, attackers can spoof email addresses or slightly modify malicious URL to bypass the phishing detection systems or alter malware signatures to evade antivirus detection. Data poisoning. Attackers can inject malicious data into the training process, leading the ML model to learn incorrect patterns, which compromises the ability to detect future attacks effectively. Next is machine learning interpretation black box problem. What is a black box? Now, many ML models which are on another technology which is known as DL or deep learning algorithms, they are also described as black boxes. Why? Because the decision-making process is not transparent and the users cannot easily understand how or why a model made a particular prediction. So this becomes a major concern and a major issue in cybersecurity, where accountability is crucial for verifying the decisions and correcting errors. This leads to trust issues. Without clear explanations of how models arrive at decisions, there can be trust issues for the critical cybersecurity tasks, such as fraud detection or malware analysis. Model generalization, overfitting or underfitting. ML models may struggle to generalize. Now, what is an overfitted target? That means these are too tailored to the training data. That means they are almost perfect to the training data. Or underfitted. That means they are too simple in compared to the data. So this can lead to the inaccurate predictions when faced with a new unseen threat, making the model ineffective in a dynamic cybersecurity environment. Another challenge is scalability and performance, which contains high computational resources and real-time processing challenges. Now, deep learning models, they require significant computational resources and a lot of time for the training of the models. So this sometimes can be a barrier, a hurdle for the smaller organizations in India or those without access to powerful infrastructure. Real-time processing challenges. ML can, yes, improve threat detection, but the time required to process data and make decisions can be a limiting factor, especially in environments where cyber attacks can occur in seconds. Now, their real-time processing challenges can be a big challenge for the ML models. Ethical concerns, bias in models. ML models are prone to inheriting biases. If the data used to train a model is biased, then the model's prediction will also be biased. So that can lead to unfair or discriminatory practices, especially in sensitive areas like entity verification or fraud detection, where marginalized groups could be disproportionately affected. Like a situation in HR, where if the data is not fitted properly, then there might be a problem with the working force as well. So here we have seen in this slide, we saw how data quality and privacy, adversarial attacks, machine learning interpretation, model generalization, scalability and performance, and ethical concerns can lead to unfair or discriminatory decisions. And uh, these can they might make these models ineffective in detecting new unseen threats. They can hinder trust in ML-based cybersecurity systems. They can reduce their effectiveness. They can raise privacy concerns. They might not be feasible for all the organizations. So this in this slide or in this section, we saw the main challenges and limitations of machine learning in cybersecurity, including issues related to data privacy, data quality, adversarial attacks, interpretability. Each of these limitations, they present a unique challenge, and we are always try and always trying to understand these challenges so that we can develop robust, reliable, and ethical machine learning security solutions. So these are the various challenges. Uh, we will take one example from each challenge. There are mainly 5 challenges here. So first is data quality and privacy in machine learning. So I have already told you what this is. We will see some examples. First example can be the Aadhaar system. Second can be Paytm fraud detection system. Next, next challenge is adversarial attacks on machine learning models. So the adversarial attacks can be of many types. Mainly, there are 3 types of adversarial attacks. One is known as invasion attacks. Second is known as spoofing attacks. Third is known as data poisoning attacks. We have already discussed about these attacks. Now we will see few examples of this. ICICI and HDFC, they use ML to extensively detect phishing attempts. Attackers can use evasion tactics such as altering email content to deceive the systems and bypass the detection. We have taken the example of Quick Heal. Quick Heal are at has risk from adversarial uh, so Quick Heal is a ML-powered antivirus solutions. They are at risk from the adversarial malware developers who modify the code of malware to evade detection. Third challenge is machine learning interpretation, the black box problem. Now what happens is, so in this, we have taken the example of HDFC and SBI. They use ML to detect fraudulent transactions. But when the model flags a legitimate transaction or misses a fraud attempt, it is difficult to understand what was the reason behind the decision due to the black box nature of the model. So I hope the black box concept is clear, where the user is not aware of sometimes what the decision or the why the decision was taken, or why that what was the reasoning behind that decision. Next is Aadhaar identification verification. Obviously, everyone knows that Aadhaar system relies on technology like DL, ML, and AI. For biometric authentication, it uses ML extensively. They always faces challenge with the interpretability. If the system rejects a legitimate user's identity, explaining the reason behind the decision is not always straightforward. Obviously, that is again a black box problem. Challenge 4 is overfitting and underfitting in machine learning models. So these are 2 common issues in machine learning. Overfitting occurs when the model is too complex and captures noise or random fluctuations in the training data, which results in the poor performance in the new data. Underfitting, on the other hand, happens when a model is too simple and fails to capture the underlying patterns in the data, leading to inaccurate predictions even on the trained and the training data. Here we have taken two examples. One is ICICI Bank, which uses machine learning to detect fraudulent transactions. If the model is overfitted, it might perform well on past fraud patterns, but fail to detect the new types of fraud. Alternatively, if the model is underfitted, it might miss simple fraud cases altogether. Another example is India's Cybercrime Coordination Center, or I4C. The I4C, as we all know, it always monitors the threat to the critical national infrastructure. Now here, if the data is overfitted or underfitted in the models which are used to detect cyber attacks on sectors like energy, transport, they can either lead to missed attacks or unnecessary alerts, complicating the response process of the ML models. Challenge 5 is the scalability and the performance of machine learning. Now, there are various challenges in the scalability and performance. High computational resources are required, real-time processing is required, latency issues are there. So, for this, we have taken two examples. First is Airtel, where we will study the network and traffic analysis. So Airtel faces challenges with scalability in monitoring network traffic in real time, especially with the number of growing connected devices in India. So ML models used for Airtel for using intrusion detection and anomaly detection must be optimized to handle large-scale data, which sometimes is not possible in, say, maybe the rural sectors or the sectors which are not touched much. So now we have seen how machine learning is affecting cybersecurity and revolutionizing the way the cybersecurity is handled in India with various examples. I have taken various examples from various sectors like banking, telecom, government services. ML has enabled faster threat detection, improved fraud prevention, real-time anomaly detection, all of which contribute to a safer digital environment. Limitations, yes. While ML offers immense potential in cybersecurity field, it also has some limitations. Data quality issues such as inconsistencies or biases in the data can impact the model performance. Adversarial attacks can manipulate ML models, allowing cyber criminals to bypass detection systems. Additionally, the interpretability of ML models remain a challenge, making it difficult to understand the rationale behind certain predictions, which is critical for the entering for ensuring trust and accountability in security systems. The key takeaways of this conclusion can be ML's impact. ML enhances cybersecurity by improving the speed, the accuracy, and effectiveness of threat detection, make it an essential tool for the organizations in India. Yes, we have discussed some challenges and limitations. Despite its advantages, ML models, they are vulnerable to challenges such as data quality issues, adversarial attacks, and lacks of transparency in the decision making. To fully leverage the ML in cybersecurity, organizations should adapt these with these limitations. They should address these limitations and implement strategies to ensure robust, transparent, and fair ML models. So with this, I have come to the conclusion of this presentation. It has been quite a long presentation for now. So I would now like to open this floor for some questions. Let me ask a few questions from you. Have you ever received a fraudulent message which was not from your bank, but it was pretending that it's from your bank? If the answer is yes, then uh, cybersecurity is now a important part of our life also. So after these sessions, do you think ML or machine learning could help make us or our online shopping experience safer? If you think the answer is yes, then yes, it's true that ML can widely help our experiences much safer and much quicker and much faster also. Uh, in the last, I would like to thank all of you for your kind attention and engagement during our session. In the end, just a small recap is we have discussed how machine learning can improve the cybersecurity, the challenges it faces. Uh, well, machine learning can help and identify the threats and keeps our system safe. But we should be also aware of the limitations and we should always work towards these limitations to improve it and to improve the ML model constantly. With this, I would invite everyone, if you want to have any further questions, would like to discuss these topics in more detail, AI, biases, etc., please feel to reach out. The next screen will show you my contact info. And in the end, uh, thank you all for your time and participation. Uh, I'm just reading out from it because so I hope today's session helped you how and gave you some understanding about how machine learning is changing the way we are approaching the cybersecurity, particularly here in our country, where industries like banking, telecom, government are increasingly relying and getting dependent on the ML technologies. In the previous slides, we saw that ML plays a very crucial role in enhancing the securities by detecting the threats like phishing, fraud, malware in real time. Machine learning is there, but obviously it has its own challenges. As we discussed earlier, the quality of data used to train models is essential. It is the backbone of this model. Without clean, unbiased, consistent data, models can make inaccurate predictions. Additionally, we can't ignore adversarial attacks where cyber criminals try to deceive the models by using false codes or they use false methods to do this. Uh, and in the end, we also saw the black box problem where sometimes why the machine is taking this decision, this reasoning is not there. The ML models are getting powerful and powerful by day, but they are sometimes they are difficult to interpret and often referred to this black box problem. So that's why understanding and improving in decision making of the ML models is really important. So while machine learning, it offers so much potential in securing our digital systems, it is necessary to continuously work on improving the machine learning models, addressing the limitations the models have, and ensuring that it is used responsibly and ethically. Uh, it's our own responsibility. So after this, I would just like to say, if you have any further questions and thoughts, if you would like to dive deeper into any of the topics we have discussed today, if you want to discuss anything on this, feel free to reach out. I would be happy to continue the conversation over there. Once again, thank you everyone, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I hope you found the session informative and engaging. If you have uh, anything to say, any follow-up questions, if you would like to say something, discuss anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. This is my contact info. You can connect to me on LinkedIn. I am an open LinkedIn networker. I never refuse or never refuse the connections. Kindly connect with me. My name is Mohit Tiwari, and this is my email address. And I am an assistant professor in Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Engineering, Delhi. So I am passionate about these kinds of training, these kinds of research, and these kinds of security. And as I already said in the beginning, I am really fond of open source cyber security softwares as well. So please be in touch with me, and you can connect with me on this address, and please send me a connection request, and I will try and accept everyone, and let's make this world more secure, more safe, and more digitalized. And I really look forward to hearing from every one of you. Thank you once again for your time, and thanks a lot. Great. So if you have any questions, anything, please feel free. Thank you so much. Any questions from anyone? Mr. Narayana?
Yeah, it's fine, sir. It's very wonderful session.
Yeah.
Actually, my research work also related to somewhat deep learning security. Somewhat
All
it
right,
is
sir.
useful for me.
Okay. Yeah. So kindly connect with me on LinkedIn, and we will continue
Yeah,
the
sure, sir.
discussion. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah. So if anyone has any questions, or should I now stop presenting and
Good afternoon, dear professor and participants. Any doubt, you can go with that. Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful session, sir. It was very great and it was an informative session, sir.
thank you so much.
Sir, could you kindly put that LinkedIn link in the chat box, sir? Would you
Yeah,
mind
sure,
putting
sure.
that? Thank you, sir. I am Professor Subbarao, sir.
I take this time to invite Narayan for the vote of thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening. On behalf of the organizing team, I Chakap Narayan Rao, Associate Professor, HOD, Department of CSE. I extend to my heartfelt gratitude to all the who have contributed to making this event a success. First and foremost, I would like to thank our esteemed speaker Mohit Tiwari sir for delivering such an insightful and engaging session on the interaction of machine learning and cybersecurity. Your expertise, she said, like on how machine learning techniques can help us to detect, prevent, and respond to ever-evolving cyber threats. We appreciate the time and effort you put into the preparing the session and for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. The discussions and questions and interactions have made the session even more meaningful, and we hope you gained valuable insights that you can apply in your professional endeavors. A special thanks to the organizing team, Pencil Beach, volunteers, and everyone behind the scenes who worked tirelessly to make this event happen smoothly. Your hard work and dedications are truly commendable. As we conclude this session, I encourage everyone to stay curious and continue to exploring the exciting field of machine learning in cybersecurity. The future is bright, and together we can continue to build a safer digital world. And under the visionary leadership of Dr. Behra Vijay Chaitanya, our esteemed founder, and with the able guidance of Principal Dr. V. Sridhar Patnaik, we are committed to building an institution that fosters spirit of academic curiosity, hands-on learning, and global competitiveness. Thank you once again to everyone for your support and participation. Have a wonderful day ahead. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Narayanan sir, and accepting our with the collaborations with Pencil Bits. Thank you, Narayanan. Special thanks to Narayanan sir, and it was a very great, heartful thanks to the Mohit Tiwari sir for and accepting our invitations and presenting a wonderful session, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Ma'am, our principal sir is.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ma'am, our principals are also in the chat in the meeting. Sir, you want to share anything, sir?
Okay. So I would like to welcome principal for the Bihari College from a few words.
I think sir has connectivity issue, madam. Yeah, we can conclude, madam. No issue.
Okay. I would like to thank you, principal sir, for the having joining the sections. Thank you so much, sir. And
Yeah,
Thank you,
you, sir.
everyone,
Thank you,
and Happy New Year to everyone in advance. And as someone has also typed it, thank you so much for all the wishes, and may every best thing happen to every one of you. And be safe and be secure. And thank you so much for inviting me here. I would really love to be a part once again. I hope they call me again. So, anyways, so it was nice meeting you all, and kindly be in touch on LinkedIn, and we will continue our conversations over there also. Thank you so much, sir. So, may I leave now?
Yeah.
yes, sir. Thank you,
Right.
sir.
Thank you, team. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The information to the participants, dear professors and participants, you have to fill the feedback form. According to the feedback form, the certificate will be provided. So I kindly request each and individually to fill the feedback form. Thank you all. Your certificate will be receiving within 3 to 4 business working days. Thank you all.